All right, good day, ladies and gentlemen. VeChain is in an apex, going to break out soon. It's going to pick a direction soon, make a big move. I also want to update you guys with the state of VeChain's partnerships and mention some major recent partnerships that VeChain's had. Also, I want to talk about the VTHO token, the gas token for the VeChain ecosystem. So if you like the sound of that, do me a favor. Like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that bell icon to be notified of new uploads. So I've been kind of saying the last 2 days on the channel that VeChain is ready to break out. It's in this wedge pattern. Last, kind of a day or so here, we've been trying to break down bearishly. It seems like we're breaking down from this wedge, but we keep trending upward. We got above major resistance here with this VPVR volume right here, but we're still right up against 20 cents. We're still up against that psychological price reactive level of 20 cents. So what's happening with VeChain, folks? I think whatever way we break out of this wedge, which will be decided within the next, I'd say, day or so here, will be very, very important, because if we start to break down bearishly, break down from this key support area, this volume here at kind of 19.6 cents here, then I think retesting 17 cents becomes far more likely. We have a Fibonacci level there, or maybe even the lower extremities of our descending triangle slash wedge situation here. So we're kind of in this wedge, or a bit of a more macro wedge, or a bit of a more macro descending triangle here. Okay, so if we break down bearishly, retesting kind of, I'd say 18 cent, that volume, our fib level here, kind of 17.2 cent, and then the lower bounds of our descending triangle here, kind of at 16 cent, and then the 200 EMA on the 6 hour. Those are kind of the four major levels. So just to quickly summarize this, 200 EMA on the 6 hour, 16 cent, this fib level, and this volume here at 18, 3 cent, 18.2 cent are the four support areas that I think VeChain will likely test if we start to break down bearishly from this wedge. If we break out bullishly, some of the key things we need to be aware of is we need to flip, of course, 20 cent, but specifically 21 cent from resistance into support if we want to see bullish continuation, because it's a very price reactive level here. We can see we also have the 236 Fibonacci retracement there acting as resistance. So if we can start to flip this range here from resistance into support, then I think retesting this red trend line is far more likely. But perhaps more interestingly, all-time highs becomes more likely if we can start flipping these resistance levels into support. Looking at the VeChain Bitcoin pairing, we seem to be breaking down bearishly from our wedge, but we're still within our descending triangle here. So following this chart will be very key for understanding whether we see that bearish continuation, a bullish breakout, or where we'll find support. Because let's say VeChain continues to break down bearishly. If once VeChain Bitcoin pairing finds a floor here, that could be the level where the US dollar value of VeChain finds its floor. So again, following this chart will be very important for kind of gauging and timing that floor for VeChain. Let's say we start to break out bullishly above this trend line, then that will be our cue that we're likely to see bullish continuation. Now we're breaking down from some key volume here, kind of like the 3.6 level here. So once we flip that from resistance into support, it makes it more likely that we see bullish continuation. Now, moving on to the VTHO token here, we were in this macro descending triangle, broke up bullishly. We're above this key range of resistance here at kind of like the 16 cent region here. We're above this fib level. Ultimately, I think we're just kind of range bound between our two fib levels here. Whatever way we break out, I think we're just jumping to the next fib level. So we break out here, make a new higher high, probably retesting all-time highs. Break down bearishly from these regions here, we're probably testing kind of 147 here, kind of these previous lows. So ultimately, whatever way we break out of this channel, I think our next fib level is where we're going to with the VTHO token here. As well, just to mention and kind of keep you guys up to date with the state of partnerships with VeChain. VeChain has recently partnered with Salesforce. This was a big partnership announced April 8th. So some of the other major partnerships with VeChain is the Royal Melbourne Institute of Technology and Health Evolution, a US-based supplement manufacturer. So folks, look, very interesting. VeChain is being used. There's constant adoption. Very good to see. Now, over the long term, I think VeChain has one of the best fundamental use cases out there in crypto land. For those who don't know, if you made it this far in the video without knowing, it's kind of funny, but I'll just explain to you briefly. VeChain aims to improve supply chains and logistics through tracking on the blockchain. For example, if you're a wine merchant And if you want to know, how if your grapes were stored correctly, you slap on a tag to your grape. You can track it through transport, where it was transported, time frames, what temperature, that kind of thing. Wine, for example, there's a big issue in the world with the fabrication of fake wine. So with VeChain tracking, you can track the state of the wine bottles in production through every state of production. So it just helps out with tracking for a bunch of different products. It solves a lot of issues, real world issues in the world today. So I'm very bullish on this thing long term. So whether we break down bearishly and retest some of these levels or break out bullishly, VeChain is a long term hold for me. So if we just kind of zoom out and look at what was one of the most important support levels for VeChain historically, was the 200 EMA on the 6 hour. We can see how here 3 times acted as support, here as support. So let's say we do start to break down bearishly. The VeChain Bitcoin pairing is not looking too crazy hot. We're breaking down from the wedge. We're below the volume, not looking too hot. Let's say we could have retracement. Let's say we do fall back down to the 200 EMA on the 6 hour. We're currently at about 14.5 cents. Personally, historically, that was a great buy the dip opportunity. And let's say we did fall that low, we would actually make still a higher low. So even if VeChain does correct here in the short term, I don't think it's the end of the world. Let's take a look here at our indicators. We are seeing some strength start to build up. Like if we take a look at the 12, MACD histogram on the way up, all the way to MACD going down, so we're getting conflicting information. Stochastic RSI, bullish crossover, and RSI starting to make higher highs and higher lows here. So we're starting to see some bit of strength build up in those higher time frames. If we take a look at the 6 hour, bullish crossover, way to MACD, bullish crossover. So kind of some of the hourly time frames do look strong. So I think continued movement to the upside is very key for VeChain. But ultimately, folks, whatever way we break out of this wedge here, I think will be very telling for understanding what the next big impulse is for VeChain here. If and when we do break out, we're going to be talking about it on this channel and in our Discord group, so make sure you join our Discord. Link for that is down in the description below. As well, if you like what we do and you want to support us, become a VIP Discord member. You gain access through our Patreon. Links for everything is down in the description. Folks, do me a favor, just click on every single link you see down in our description and I'll be a happy camper. All right, look, folks, without further ado, I'm going to wrap it up here. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care.